WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and you're about to go one-on-one with Talking Taker. Holla!
All right, creatures of the night. Welcome to Talking Taker, episode 226 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. My name is Alex Doriot. I want to thank all of you out there in the Pod Street crew for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. And I am joined, as always, here by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my fellow creature of the night. He wishes he was a little bit taller. He wishes he was a baller. He is Mr. Travis White. And I say that here because we're talking about the tallest tag team of all time. I don't think that's true, but certainly a team known for they're pretty big boys, nearly 7 feet tall, both of them. We're talking about the new Skyscrapers here. This is going to be the complete history of the new Skyscrapers. And this is an important thing to talk about. I never thought we'd do an episode on this, but really going back on it, I didn't realize how important of a run this was. Short run, but of course, this is Mean Mark Callous. This is his first big break into a major company ever. Before he had that singles run in WCW, and obviously before he was The Undertaker, this was his break into one of the top companies, was this tag team with Dangerous Danny Spivey and with terrible Teddy Long, or Peanuthead Theodore R. Long, as we'll talk about here. And there's just so much in here as we talk about it. This short but pivotal run, so many things that are going to have such an impact on his career as The Undertaker, and also some ridiculously silly, absurdist, only in WCW stuff as well. So this is going to be a fun episode, I think, Travis.
That's why I brought my jacket out, for the WCW-ness of it. So I'm fancy here.
You look like you could be one of the opponents of the Skyscrapers here tonight.
Could. Yeah.
What was your familiarity level with the Skyscrapers before we did our research here tonight?
I mean, I don't think I even heard of them until we started doing like Talking Taker, just going through his history and stuff. And I mean, I guess I knew Dan. I knew Sid and Dan, I think, maybe just from research and stuff as a young fan, but never really like focused and honed in on them at all. I don't think I knew that there was a Skyscrapers and a new Skyscrapers. I don't think I knew that there was, like Demolition. I didn't think I knew there was like this third man that came in, because I didn't really care that much. But honestly, I'm glad we went back and watched this. This was fun stuff.
Yeah, there's even a fourth man who's going to be coming in here.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and we'll talk about all that. So like we said, a very brief run, but we're going to talk about all of their televised matches here, or I think there may have been one that I could not find any footage of. But, most of the stuff is not on Peacock, so you got to search around on YouTube to find it on some of these WCWB shows at the time. But, their biggest match, the matches, or the two matches of any significance that they have are going to be about these two guys against Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom. That's what it's all building to. And we've never really had much of a chance to talk about them either. No. So it's a great excuse to talk about, probably, in my opinion, got to be on the Mount Rushmore all time of tag teams. Don't you think?
Yeah. So Mount Rushmore, you get 8 faces, right? You don't just get
for 4 tag teams, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We got to. Yeah, they're going to be up there. I mean, Steiner Brothers got to be up there, right?
They're on mine.
Yeah, those two teams have got to be on there, and then the other two, it's just a coin toss. I think I go. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, I'd probably put Rock and Roll Express, and then I might put the Hardy Boys on there. I mean, just like for me personally as a fan, and their impact throughout the past 25 years. Yeah. I mean, they're probably the most debatable one on there, but that's just off the top of my head.
I put Road Warriors, just quick fire, Road Warriors, Steiners, Hardys, Usos, man. Just because the Usos, they are the modern day, they are the standard, dude. And they main evented WrestleMania, and they're twin. There's so much there. Longest tag team title reign. I think the most is New Day. New Day could be up there too, but they're just not taken seriously. But yeah, Steiners, LOD, Road Warriors, whatever you want to call them, Usos and Hardys, I think.
I think you can absolutely make a case.
Ask
for
me
it
tomorrow.
yourself.
I'll say Dudley's, Hardy's, and Edge and Christian and Road War. I don't know, but yeah, right now is my 4. So anyway, not new skyscrapers though.
What about the Galaxians? Would you put them up there?
Ooh, ooh, I may have to take one off. Yeah, we'll talk about them in a minute.
We will talk about the Guardians of the Galaxians here. I don't know what galaxy they're guarding, but I'm excited to talk about it here. So it's going to be very fun. Sort of an old school Talking Taker episode, just running through a bunch of matches. No watch-alongs or anything, but we'll just give our thoughts on this run. And
we'll spare you the watch-along.
Yes, we will. We did all of that work for you. But before we get into all of that, we got another fun edition of Undertaker sightings for the month of May that we got to get into here, Travis. And we're going to kick things off, not really with an Undertaker sighting, but with a PSK sighting in real life, man. I had a very fun experience a few days ago as we're recording this, a couple weeks ago, as you're listening or watching to this. I got to go on a little journey and meet up in real life with a loyal PSK member, friend of the show, the host of the Collecting Dead Man podcast, Steven Zeman. Got to go on a little journey to SmackDown in his hometown of Jacksonville, Florida. My company is, real quick story. My company is based out of Jacksonville, and I actually work
for
remote.
AW.
It's not that company.
Oh, okay.
It does start with an A, but I won't divulge too much of my.
Does it end in a U?
Ends with an O.
AEW. Anyway.
There was some AEW chatter on this episode of SmackDown. Cody alluded to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have a box at the arena in Jacksonville, and SmackDown was coming through a couple weeks ago. They said, hey, you want to come down? We can get you tickets to SmackDown. My boss knows that I like wrestling. We talk wrestling from time to time. I said, you know what? Why not? I know Steven
yes,
was there.
boy.
Exactly. I texted him. He was game to join me and meet in real life for the first time. So I went down there, actually met the people I work with in real life for the first time after 3 years. Oh, God. There goes everybody.
So now let me ask a quick question. Let me interject.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a box, do you have to get a ticket, or you just the box is like you don't have to buy a ticket, do you?
Right. So it's a suite.
Yes.
I said box, but it's a suite.
Well, I mean, yeah. You don't have to have a ticket to SmackDown because you just go and come in your suite, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to have a pass.
Sure,
so
sure.
I guess they can. I think they have 20 passes per event, basically. So we weren't the only ones in there. There was some
ticket. Essentially.
I mean,
they have a pass for you.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Essentially. Yeah. So yeah, we have like a little separate entrance that we can go in, a little parking that we can go in.
Dude.
And I did record a bunch of it. I should have the vlog up. By the time we're talking, it should be up tomorrow. So it'll definitely be up by the time it's you're listening or watching this. So I tried to vlog the journey, but yeah, met up with Steven. He showed up at this dingy little hotel that I got since it was just me for the night and it didn't have the wife and kids. I just got the cheapest hotel I could get. And Pat, the 3 hotels surrounding it were all abandoned, so that gives you an idea of how this hotel was. And walked out the door, and he's out there in front of his car with a big box waiting for a little drop off with me. So he's got some Undertaker gifts that he gave me. I opened those up on the vlog. I'll leave that as a surprise.
Nice.
We went to dinner, hung out. He was great. Hang out with, had a blast, went to the suite, and I will say, just in full transparency, I don't know if it's my favorite way to watch a wrestling show is through the suite. There was a lot of people in there, and sight lines were not great when you don't really have a seat in there. But all things considered, we had a great time. It was very fun, very unique experience. In my opinion, Bianca Belair.
Too sweet?
It was too sweet. And the OC was opening match of the night, dude. I didn't realize they still had a job.
Yeah, dude. They're in NXT sometimes. So,
they sent Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis.
Who?
2 other guys I didn't know had jobs. That was a dark match, and then a speed match between
Job Squad match.
Tyler Bate and Apollo Crews. Again, Didn't realize he was still with us. But yeah, great. Bianca Belair, I think, was the most over person of the night. Just live crowd reaction. She did open the show, but she was getting lots of chants, lots of cheers. Cody obviously had a huge reaction. Randy Orton, LA Knight, all the regulars, you would assume. Got a couple of dark matches after the show too. We got the Judgment Day, Jeff Balor and McDonough against Awesome Truth. Awesome Truth got a great reaction from the crowd. The one with the stereo attitude adjustments and 5 knuckle shuffles.
Oh, that's my favorite long running gag in WWE.
It's so good.
Is that R-Truth's favorite wrestler when he was a kid was John Cena? That's been going on since like 2011. Like
he uses the moves and everything. It's great.
So
Cena's
good.
not there. Why not use it?
No.
And then main event was Damian Priest and Kofi Kingston for the world title.
That's
so
fun.
That was cool little thing. And they said it at the very beginning of the show. They said Awesome Truth will be here and Damian Priest will be here tonight. But they didn't you would think during the commercials they would keep reminding people, hey, make sure we've still got 2 matches, 2 double main events after the show is over. And after SmackDown was over, after Randy Orton beat Carmelo Hayes, half the arena left, and then Awesome Truth's music played. A bunch of people ran back in, and then of course after that match, more people got up and left, including in our suite. Everybody left except me and Steven. And I was like, I know they said Damian Priest is going to be here tonight. Yeah. Of course, Kofi Kingston, he comes back. Everybody comes running back in. It was so
awesome.
Funny.
Yeah.
Very fun SmackDown. I don't follow everything as much these days, but a very enjoyable show. A lot of wrestling.
You guys see some good wrestling, man. Yeah, that opening match, Tiffany Stratton and Bianca are so good.
It was very good.
Golly, they're so good, man. It's it scares me how good they are. Honestly, they're so young, especially Tiffany. She's 25, man.
I never seen her before, so yeah.
Whoa. Oh, she's blown me away since the day she walked on NXT, man. She's great.
Mm-hmm.
So
very
she's
impressive.
she's like Charlotte. I mean, she's gonna be her and Charlotte is the match I want at WrestleMania one day. So
I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. Yeah, you had some good wrestling. Good. I mean, you got to see Tom Tonga's first solo match, or no, second solo match, I guess. But still.
Yep.
LA Knight was over, seeing Cody. You got to see Logan Paul, dude.
And Logan Paul, yep. And Saturday morning, I went over to Steven's house and got a tour of the incredible collection that he's got. So you have to check out.
Is that coming on the vlog?
The vlog. That is on the vlog as well. Some very rare pieces in there. It's very obscure stuff. So check that out. Talking Taker YouTube channel. Make sure you give that a watch. And thank you again to Steven for joining me, for accompanying me for this great night, for the incredible gifts. Great loyal friend in real life, and of course, friend of the show. As far as Undertaker goes, I think his biggest sighting, his main sighting for the month of May, was on the Busted Open podcast recently with Mark Henry and Bully Ray. And Travis, I know you listen to that show even without Undertaker on there. So why don't you tell us all about his appearance on there?
Yeah, it was, first of all, it's a big deal. I mean, Busted Open is the biggest wrestling podcast. It's on Sirius XM. That's huge, man. I know I'm a big fan of the show. I don't listen to the Sirius XM 3-hour edition. I listen to the podcast version. So, anywhere from 25 minutes to an hour, they just splice down the best stuff and put it on a podcast every day. So listen to that. But hearing Taker on there, I think they put the whole interview with him on there. So it was just good, man. It just I want people to go listen to it and watch it or whatever. But he told a good story, man, about probably one of the best autographs he's ever signed. So it's just I sent it to you, and I think you posted on social media. So
yeah, that one was going around on social media.
Yeah, that story of what he did to that guy is just classic. It's so good. So yeah, go check that out. I don't want to spoil it, but he basically put some guy in his place with an autograph. So it's pretty fun. But yeah, he just the hardest thing for him talking about doing his own podcast was just I'm still it's just weird for me to talk about the business sometimes. I know it's all out there, and I just protected it for so long, and it's just weird. And there's still some stuff that he doesn't want to give away, which is true of Bully Ray and Mark Henry and Tommy Dreamer Taylor. They don't peel the curtain back all the way. And one thing Busted Open, I do respect, they don't do spoilers. They don't ever do spoilers. ever on anything. And, Tommy works for TNA. Tommy Dreamer does,
Right.
Yeah. And they have like Mickey James, and she works for them. And they have what's her name, Thunder Rosa, and she works for AEW. But I think even Ziggler's on there now, but he works for whoever. But they will never ever talk about spoilers, which is kind of cool. I do, they protect the integrity of that. But he's just talking about, like, it's just weird for him sometimes on this podcast, but he's really enjoyed his podcast, and he confirmed that they had the Like a Broken Skull session type thing. They had recorded about 5 episodes of his own for the network, but then he said something about the company they were shopping around with, it fell through. So I don't know what that even means. Like, I thought you had your own network, like WWE. I don't understand what that even means. So anyway, but yeah, we broke that news here, I believe, a year ago or something.
I think more than that.
A year and a half ago,
2 years ago,
with
almost.
Godfather, that they had filmed some episodes, right. And so that is been confirmed by the man himself. So anyway, but
wonder if those will ever show up anywhere, any of that audio or video.
I don't know,
because it's kind of crazy.
Because David LaGreca was one of the guests, apparently. He had never spoken of it at all. He had never told Bully Ray, never told Mark Henry, never told anybody. So Taker brought it up, and he's like, well, since you said something, I'll think he said he stole one of the mugs from the set. Yeah. But another cool thing, though, aside from that, was every Sunday they do a master's class, Busted Open, where it's just like a 30-minute.
It's all about Chris Masters.
Yeah, it's all about
breakdown of Chris
who can get out
match?
the Masters law. Yeah, you just watch 30 minutes of his. No, it's about whatever it might be. Whatever the theme of is of the week. Typically something that's topical. When Punk came back, it's like top interactions with Punk or something, or like whatever it is, best Punk matches or whatever. They do something topical with WrestleMania season. What are your favorite WrestleMania moments or whatever? Anyway, this one was Dead Man Memories, and So Mark Henry and Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer tell some cool stories, and one I do want to point out was Bully Ray talks about he tells a couple funny ones, but he talks about how they're like, he's like, who's the one guy you don't ever chop? And they're like, Taker. And he was like, yeah, well, I forgot that one night. He said it must have been 2001, because he was saying him and Devon were trading the straps with Kane and Taker back and forth and this and that, and fighting on house shows and Raws and SmackDowns and stuff. So I was like, it must have been 01, But anyway, he was saying that he said, I had him in the corner, and just instinct, I just went and I like overhand chopped him. He said, and as soon as I did, my head fell straight down. And I just kept my head down. He said, and I heard Kane. I heard Glenn laughing over in the corner. And he goes, oh, he's going to kill you. He said, and so he looked up real slowly. It must have been a house show or something. I looked up slowly, and Taker goes, all right, boy. He goes, whip me in the corner and watch the boot. So he whips him in the corner, and we've seen this movie. A guy runs at him, Taker puts his boot up. He said, as I'm running at him, he sticks his boot up and goes, receipt. Just boots Bully straight in the tooth, man, just hard as he can. Just giving him that receipt, because I guess it's the thing. Like you can't chop Taker. He said Sean can and Flair can. Those are the only two guys that can chop Taker. But other than that, you don't do it. And he just forgot in the heat of the moment, and then. Yeah, he ate his boot for a receipt. But this here in a 2001 Taker go receipt, just booting him. I want to see it. Dude. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. I wanted to share that one. The other ones, go listen to those, because they're pretty fun. So
fun stuff, man. Well, yeah. You can of course check those out on. Oh yeah, hit us up.
Teddy Long was on Chris Van Vliet Insight. I like that too. He talks about Taker quite a bit, obviously, because they talk about the one-on-one with the Undertaker. He said, I just did that one night. He said one time I was, he said, somebody said, said another a wrestler's name or something, like, you're going to fight Kurt Angle. And Vince was ticked off when they came through Gorilla. You got to give us some emphasis. You got to give it from your gut, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, all right. So he went out and said, one-on-one with the Undertaker, or whatever. And like, he came back and Vince like, that's good. Blankety blank. GD, pal. That's great. And he just loved it. He said, from then on, I just did it. I could not do it. And he admits too, Van Vliet asked him, he goes, how about the buckle up, Teddy? He said, was that in the script? He goes, nah, Taker just did that.
No way.
Taker just goes, buckle up, Teddy. And I was like, that's awesome. So yeah, that was fun. But he said his favorite memories are like working with Taker. Like that's
great.
Which is funny because it wasn't even Taker podcast. It was the Teddy Long interview, and that's his favorite stuff, was working with Taker. So anyway,
the show, Teddy Long, PSK
yes, boy.
member. Yeah, of course. Does our intro every week.
Yeah, he does. So.
He comes down to the studio every week and records it. It's
live. We're live now.
In this suit and everything.
Yeah. Peanuthead.
Well, we'll get to more Teddy Long in a minute. I you reminded me, I wanted to share a couple things from Taker's podcast. I do still subscribe to his Patreon, and he does these Q&A episodes on there every week. So it's like 30 minutes. So just maybe answer like 3 or 4 fan questions on there. It's fun little bonus content. And a couple of fun anecdotes that came out of that I thought would be worth sharing. Number one, somebody asked him, who are your favorite opponents? And he's like, well, do I give you like the basic answer, or let me just say a couple that you might not expect. And he said one was JBL. He's like, I always love working with him. He's one of my best friends, and then thought we had good matches. And I thought that was interesting. Like, that didn't come up that much, but we really liked those matches, a lot more than we thought we would when we covered it. And he said the other was Eddie Guerrero. He's like, I didn't work with him much, but when I did, I wish we could have worked more. And he said he remembers one match. This must have been a house show or something. I don't know. Or because I think we only saw them on TV once or twice. But he said, he was, Eddie was a babyface at the time. So I guess it was babyface. And Eddie's beating him up. And then like Taker does like snaps his neck at Eddie. And Eddie just like bails out of the ring in fear and like runs away. And he's like, you're not supposed to do that as babyface, but Eddie could. It absolutely worked for Eddie to do it. And he's like, that's why I loved working with him. You could do so much different stuff, and he's so unique, such a great performer. So I thought that was funny. And then
Eddie got over lie, cheat, and steal as a babyface.
Of course, exactly.
He started as a heel and then got it as a babyface over. So Eddie was one of a kind, man.
And then someone asked him about Ministry of Darkness, and I thought, we just talked about Ministry of Darkness on last week's episode, the pilot episode of SmackDown 25th anniversary, also timely because I just went to SmackDown, so it all came full circle. But he said that was my idea. He said, I was trying to not be in the ring as much, so I just wanted to have like an extension of that and have these guys around me. And his co-host asked him, like, did you handpick all those guys? He's like, yeah, pretty much. That's who I wanted to be in there. Like the Brood, I saw a lot of potential in those guys. I wanted to give them the rub. I had, Midian in there, so I
didn't see potential in
keep my eye on him. And Farouk and Bradshaw.
Big Vis.
He said, I put Viscera in there, so I didn't have to work with him.
Broke his face.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had to work against him. Just put him in there. That's hilarious.
That's great.
Who else you want in there? Give me Midian. Or give me Viscera. Why? You don't have to fight.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just put him in there for me.
Vader comes back, give me Vader. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part of the story too.
I've heard him say, it was on some, it may have just been him talking on a different episode of that, but he was talking about the corporate ministry. He said once it turned corporate ministry, I kind of lost. It kind of was like, meh,
He said that too. Yeah.
And they were like, it's
turned into the NWO.
Yeah. And he's not wrong. So.
Yep.
That's when it jumped the shark for me too.
Oh yeah, of course. But of course, we got a whole episode all about that. Last month's episode. Check that out with our boys Mike and JV from the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. And that. We also talked about the main event of WCW Thunder from that same night. And we're going to spend a whole evening here in Travis's favorite neck of the woods in WCW country. A little bit before our time. This was 1989. I'm with you, Travis. I had never really explored the Skyscrapers. I'm sure I'd seen a couple of these matches, the pay-per-view and Clash of the Champions matches at some point. But wasn't super familiar with this run, but the Skyscrapers were shaping up to be a pretty big deal in my opinion. So we're going to take the time travel and hearse back to 1990 primarily, but I want to take us back about 6 months before that, just the origins of the Skyscrapers to sort of set the scene here. Of course, it started out as Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. That was the original team. And kind of a funny story how they came together. Teddy Long was a referee in WCW or NWA at the time, and he turned heel, costing the Road Warriors the tag team titles. I don't know why you'd ever want to be on the bad side of the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
But he was heel referee and became a manager at the time, and with Spivey and Vicious. And gosh, those guys just looked like $1,000,000. Both of those guys did.
Yeah.
Just so scary. Sid was so young at the time. And they're pretty dominant for a few months, destroying some jobbers. Basically, if you search Skyscrapers on YouTube, one of the first things that comes up is them getting into a shoot fight with this jobber who doesn't want to cooperate, and just him getting murdered for 5 minutes. And after the bell, they just go attack him and take
Perry Saturn style.
Oh yeah, worse. If you've never seen that, you gotta go watch it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they were getting set.
It's not, but it is.
It is. That guy just he went in there. I don't know what he was trying to prove. I don't know why you're trying to prove yourself against these two guys, against Sid and Spivey. What are you thinking, man? But he's just not cooperating. He doesn't sell for anything. He just gets right up after every bump, and it's just a foolish endeavor that was.
Man.
So they're getting set up. The big showdown is supposed to be Skyscrapers Road Warriors. That's what's getting built up on TV. They actually face each other at Halloween Havoc '89, and they get disqualified, but they still look strong. But Clash of the Champions 9, Sid gets hurt in a match against the Steiner brothers and punctures his lung. So not a fun injury. But instead of putting the entire team on the shelf and scrapping this whole buildup, WCW picks up this young kid, Texas Red, Punisher Dice Morgan,
Booger Red.
Who is he in Tennessee?
Oh golly, I don't even remember.
Come on, we're supposed to know this.
I don't know. I've forgotten it all.
There's the Punisher Dice Morgan.
I don't remember.
Texas Red.
Yeah, somebody else.
Oh man, Master Payne. Come on.
Yeah, the Mop. That's right, Master Payne. With against Sid, the Leviathan or the Behemoth or whatever it was.
Exactly. So kind of funny that they cross paths again. They're sort of like ships passing in the night, always during this era. Really, their whole careers, because they came about in the '92 in WWF and had that little match we talked about on a Coliseum video episode, and then of course main event.
WrestleMania.
That's right. But it's not totally unheard of to have a guy drop out of a tag team and just slot somebody in. You mentioned Demolition earlier. The Head Shrinkers had Samu drop out, and Sione, aka the Barbarian, came in and filled in for him. La Resistance had Rene Dupree drop out and Robert Conway come in there with the Sylvain Grenier. Your favorite tag team, La Resistance.
I did love Rod Conway. That guy was awesome.
The Con Man.
I watched a dark match, or not dark match. I watched it was an early Randy Orton match with him and Rob Conway, young Rob Conway. It was really fun, man. I don't know what my son was watching it the other day or something on
Your
YouTube.
son was?
Yeah, Owen was watching it. So
just look at me.
Yeah, this was all before that. It was like,
man,
it was 2002 Randy Orton, babyface, like brand new out the gate guy. So it was wild.
Well, this is going to be wild too. So Mean Mark's going to come in. He's going to fill in with Danny Spivey. Danny Spivey, a guy who, had a lot of different opportunities, but just never really, I guess, lived up to his potential. I think maybe his most famous run is as Waylon Mercy in 1995 in the WWF, but that was sort of after his body was really shot to pieces. That run didn't last as long as it could have, but certainly an influential character. Bray Wyatt often talked about that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, thank God he was Waylon Mercy, because we wouldn't have got Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. So. But a football star for the University of Georgia before he became a wrestler.
If you hadn't heard, JR is going to let you know, baby. Go, dogs.
And he was in the WWF. He was in and out of companies often times, and we'll talk about
he signed like 8-month contracts or something.
We'll talk about why he's gone during this one. Just never quite satisfied. Didn't take a lot of crap from people backstage, but he kept getting shots because he looked like $1,000,000.
Yeah, he passed the airport test for sure. He's a head turner.
For sure. So the new Skyscrapers are going to come about here on January 3rd, 1990, and are going to give you some dates. I'm not sure how exact these dates are as far as when it was on TV or when this was taped, but I'll give you, this basically all takes place in January and February
Yeah.
of 1990 here. And the new Skyscrapers are going to debut against, oh, what a team here. Larry
Oh,
Santo
my favorite.
and Rick Ryder.
Rick Ryder.
Any
Love
relation
it.
to Zach? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think
Let's-
so. It's
I'm
Uncle
just
Rick,
thankful-
Uncle Rico.
I'm thankful he went with Rick and not another nickname for Richard.
Yeah,
Could have been
exactly. I thought the
much
same
worse.
thing. Yeah. Dick Tracy, Dick. Ugh. That is a name that Vince Russo would have put in the Attitude
1
Era.
billion%.
I'm surprised there wasn't one after Beaver Cleavage. It's Val Venus. Was there no Richard Ryder?
Well, this sounds like Vince Russo. The Skyscrapers are introduced from Metropolis.
Dude, they look like they could be out of a Superman comic, dude. Yeah.
Are they supposed to be
Metropolis.
like supernatural? I'm not
I
sure.
don't know if they're supposed to be DC comic characters or what, but they're from Metropolis, which only exists in DC comics. So
Right.
I love it, dude.
That's hilarious.
That's like even more like, I don't know, it's just crazier than Parts Unknown. Like it's a fictional town.
Oh, it's not even the best one we're going to get to tonight.
Right. But yeah, Mean Mark Callous and Dangerous Danny Spivey, the new Skyscrapers, dude. But Rick Ryder, man, this guy looks like he's shorter than me.
It
I
was
mean, he's like 5'6", $150. Like he's so tiny.
it was like watching two adults wrestle two children. Is
Yeah.
what this
I
match
want to
was.
me and you wrestle my boys at
Yes.
WrestleMania.
I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
man.
what you want out of a squash match back then. And just made the
Yeah.
Skyscrapers look incredible.
Oh yeah.
JR and Kevin Sullivan are on commentary for this episode of television, which I never thought we would say that.
No.
But they throw us back to Theodore R. Long, who's the manager here, and he tells us people doubted the Theodore R. Long connection, said it was dead, but he's brought back the new most dangerous tag team in professional wrestling. And I tell you what, Dangerous Danny Spivey has the most dangerous mullet I've seen in a long time.
Dude, let's get dangerous. That's for sure, man. Yeah. You can go Darkwing Duck mullet all over you, baby.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's so good. Yeah, it's good, man. It is. It's 80s good, but it's in
So
the
good.
90s. Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah, JR is already from Jump Street hyping up the match of the Road Warriors, because that's the storyline, but not a lot to the match.
No,
Spivey hits an
course
ugly
not.
backbreaker, tags in Mark Callous, elbows from Mark Callous, body slam. And then JR tells us last week, Teddy Long said Mark Callous has replaced Sid Vicious until he gets well. So again, like you just said, they're still bringing that storyline, keeping it alive, because we don't know at the time if Sid's coming back or not. So we're not quite sure.
Yeah, they do this, and we're going to talk about some of the things they do during some of these matches. It does seem like maybe they're building to something for when Sid comes back, maybe a rivalry between him, and they're teasing whether or not he was really on board with Mean Mark coming in to take his spot here. So I don't know how much that was actually planned or how much of that is, things are just out of control in WCW in the best ways here. The crowd is chanting Peanuthead at Teddy Long, which just made me laugh. It happens so often too.
So good.
I gotta give Teddy Long his flowers here, man. He is great as a manager, and I don't think he gets enough credit because so much of his career was in WCW as far as a manager goes. When he gets to WWF, he's a referee. He's a manager for a little while, but he never.
Rodney Mack, baby.
Right. I mean, even in
Lewinsky.
WCW, he never had the best talent to
Right.
get behind. But he's fantastic
He's so good.
on promos. He's fantastic outside of the ring here. He's always cutting promos on the way down to the ring.
Yeah.
Even though the camera a lot of times just doesn't pay attention to him or they cut off of
Still
him
going.
mid promo. He's fantastic.
You know how old he is?
He's like mid 70s, right?
Yeah. He's like 73 or 74.
Yeah.
In that interview with Chris Van Vliet, I had to look him up. He talked about how he got his start in wrestling. He came to Augusta, Georgia, and met James Brown, or he knew James Brown. And somehow, some promoter that James knew, blah, 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 connected dots, he wound up going to work for some wrestling company, and that's how he became a referee. Dude, it's wild, dude. So he's got
No
Augusta
way.
connection, baby. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Insane. Insane.
I wish I brought that up when I met him. Next time.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought, man?
I had no idea. It was brand new news to me, man. Yeah, this is brand new information, as Phoebe would say. Friends. Anyway, dude, back to this match. Spivey tags in, Santo tags in. It looks like a hairy version of Rick Ryder. Neck breaker by Spivey, power slam. Once again, he's a former Southeast Conference defensive end. Go Dogs. Ooh, ooh.
All right, yeah. Take a shot every time JR mentions.
We'll be out in
Dan Spivey's football credentials here.
Yeah. Mark Callous tags in, body slam, and he goes to the top rope, walks it, and comes off with an elbow and pins Santos for the win, which we saw that move in Japan when he was tagging with Razor Ramon. We saw it in, the I guess his Master of Pain as well. So he's been doing that, and it's
definitely
fun to
what
see
he's
him
known
do that.
for at this time.
Yeah,
it's definitely his calling card.
Yeah.
He's still very green, and you see that. Yeah, he has improved from some of his earliest matches.
Sure.
That we've seen. Still very green though, but that is his big thing, and I think that's what's gotten him noticed. Not to mention his size, but the fact that he at that size with that look, he can do that move. It's a big deal, and they use it in every match here.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that puts that match to bed, dude.
Yeah,
but there's cool things. You got JR, you got Teddy Long, you got the walking the rope, just things that are like going to be very pivotal for the future of his career. That who knew back then, Yeah.
Who would have ever thought? But that's why it's so fun to cover this stuff. And looks like this was recorded on the same day. Might have even aired. WCW had like 8 different programs airing. They had the Pro and Power Hour, Saturday Night, Worldwide, all these shows going on.
Yeah.
But it looks like it was also on January 3rd, 1990, recorded at Center Stage, legendary studio in Atlanta. The new Skyscrapers taking on Randy Harris and Agent Steele. I'm not sure what he's an agent, what agency he represents.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Agent Steele. It's so awful.
It's like an 80s cover band or something.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Randy Harris. I mean, it's just like a janitor. Like, it's just such a name. Just such like a janitor name. Like, he's never going to be a world champion or an intercontinental champion or a U.S. champion. Randy Harris. So
yeah, why is he not Agent Harris or something?
Yeah,
something like that. Come on, man.
Yeah, Agent Randy would even be better.
Agent Randy.
What up, Agent Randy? I can see Riddle. I can see Matt Riddle going back and doing Agent Randy.
Agent Randy. He just got a little badge like Stone Cold and Kurt Angle. Well, dude, the Skyscrapers are getting over, dude. There's some kids rocking in the crowd to their little knockoff Iron Man music that's playing. These guys, they're taking the world by storm. People are getting into it. It's when you just dominate people like they do, people get into you.
Man. Chronic style.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan. They were over in NXT for sure. Baron Corbin when he was beating people in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
Kevin Sullivan, JR still on commentary here. Kevin Sullivan mentions that Mean Mark has that same faraway look in his eyes Dan Spivey does in his eyes. Yeah, but they both got the crazy eyes going. Like my Kevin Sullivan?
That's good. That's good. If I closed my eyes, I thought it was him.
Please don't picture me as him.
No, you have a neck.
Yeah, that's true. But Kevin Sullivan is rocking a bolo tie.
He boy.
Really got the formal wear on for commentary.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing, man. Knows what he's doing. But, once again, JR's putting over Dan Spivey as the Southeast Conference defensive end at Georgia. They remember him up in Athens. He says, ask Vince Dooley if you run into him at an airport. So, I mean, as a Bulldogs fan, I appreciate all the
I know you popped for that.
It is a lot. So
were you familiar with Spivey's Georgia run?
No, I had no idea he was a Bulldog until JR informed me. So thank you, JR, for that. Because then I didn't look him up, but I took JR at his word.
You should ask your dad if he remembers him. He makes him sound like a big deal.
Yeah, my brother might. He would have been 10 at this point. So he might.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, or he'd have been 9 at this point. So yeah, who knows, man? That's hilarious. But
I do gotta say, Agent Steele's tights are outstanding. He's got these like very looks like your jacket that you got on, like all sorts of design colors on there. And JR puts him over. He's like, "This is Agent Steele. He's an outstanding young athlete," as if he's ever seen this guy before.
Yeah, and he's got a black mask too, which is gonna come like that. What I noticed through watching these matches is if you just don't have anything to do with the guy, you just put a black mask on.
Absolutely.
And it's the same mask for every single tag team, every single jobber, everyone. It's like they just have this drawer full of like jobber masks in the back, and they're like, who's in the card now? I go get your mask.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the mask is gonna lose.
Texas Red wore one in his debut, man. Come on. The Punisher.
It's so crazy. They're all the same mask.
Well, of course, Mean Mark hits that big rope walk elbow, and JR just about has a heart attack watching that. He's so excited. And Kevin Sullivan says, "You know, it reminds me of the Great Wallender going over the Niagara Falls." And JR says, "Shades of the spoiler."
Yeah. Gets us back on track there.
Yeah. You could also take a drink every time someone mentions the Great Wallenda, every time Mean Mark walks across the rope, because that's going to come up 7 or 8 times.
I don't even know what that is.
The Flying Wallendas, old circus act that was like famous in like the 50s or something. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
It's really on point with their references.
Yeah. So the most on point they are is the one that JR keeps saying, which is the Georgia Bulldogs defensive end. That's crazy. Oh, man. Well, yeah, Mean Mark gets a diving clothesline on Randy Harris, and then Kevin Sullivan calls it a Road Warrior clothesline. So, yeah, but they're pushing this Road Warriors match a lot, so that's good. But Spivey tags in, and Spivey I couldn't tell if he was mocking Sid or if he was, like, giving an homage to Sid.
Right.
Because he's going to hit a power bomb and kind of does the taunt that Sid does, and they even acknowledge it. But he's going to pin Randy with one hand on his chest, which... Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah.
Like it'd be one thing if these guys were, neck and neck and even, and he just pinned him with one. It'd be disrespectful, but it's a job. It's a squash match. You're supposed to do that, so it was good.
Hey, if you're Randy Harris out there, you expect to be pinned with one hand.
Yes, the drummer of Need to Breathe, Randall Harris.
Oh, maybe he's related.
This is not him.
Oh, maybe it's his dad.
Could be related. Yeah, that would be even better. They're already intertwined in WWE, so anyway.
That's right. Well, we're going to go backstage, and JR is going to get some comments from Teddy Long and the Skyscrapers. And again, they're talking about the Sid stuff. Spivey says Sid Vicious is a good friend of his, but money means more than friendship. So they got to keep working. He says the Road Warriors were the team of the 80s, but the Skyscrapers are the team of the 90s, which is something.
Money.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up a lot here in these early 90s matches, talking about being the team of the 90s. And then, unfortunately, Mean Mark's going to get on the microphone and hasn't improved much since the Memphis territory. He just screams at the top of his lungs. And you won't know Sid Vicious's name in the 90s. You need to know the name of Mean Mark Callous. And he just kind of trails off like he doesn't know he's supposed to say Callaway or Callus or Column or
McCool.
He forgot what his
What if it was McCool and his wife's name? Mean Mark McCool.
He just kind of trails off there. Yeah. Teddy Long comes in.
Last name halfway through.
Really blew it.
That's what you need to know, he says. And yeah, Teddy kind of steps in and tries to cover for him, and it's like, nobody. You might forget the name of Sid, but nobody's meaner than Mean Mark. So we're just gonna go Mean Mark.
Yep, just remember that part, buddy.
Figure out your last name later.
Well, even the graphics department can't figure out his name, as we're gonna find out later on.
Yes. Oh man. All right. Next up.
Yeah, I do want to mention. I'm not going to talk about every house show match, but I did get some of those, and apparently even during this time he was still working the Memphis territory a little bit, because on January 8th, 1990, Dutch Mantell and Steve Austin defeated the Punisher and the Soul Taker at a Memphis event. And remind people who the Soul Taker was, Travis.
That's our boy Papa Shango, the Godfather.
Right. That's right. So that's a
Mustafa
match I'd love to see right
Old
there.
Bear himself. Yeah. Hey, Bear. That's him. Yeah.
Well,
Bear.
Take us to this next WCW match.
Yeah, I don't know what date this is. Sometime in January 90. I don't know when it was filmed, but I think it came on TV on the 20th, but who knows, man. Anyway, this is a highlight from Worldwide. It is the Steiner brothers and the Road Warrior Animal, not sure where Hawk is, against the Skyscrapers and Doom.
Ooh.
Tell us who Doom are.
7-man tag match. Oh, you got Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. But at
What
this
are they
point,
wearing?
they're just Doom 1 and Doom 2, I believe, at this point.
Yeah. What do they have on their heads?
A couple of black masks.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all Doom was.
That's it. Yeah, they're just Doom 1 and Doom 2. I'm sitting here in my notes writing their names, and they just keep saying Doom 1 and Doom 2. I'm like, wait a minute, I know I'm not wrong. That's Butch Reed and Ron Simmons.
Oh, you're not wrong.
And you can tell it's Ron Simmons because he's always looks like he always has. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a 7-man tag team match, so that's pretty neat and unique. You know, you
Pretty
don't
rare.
Yeah, especially for this time. But yeah,
Hawk might have just been like coked out of his mind or something. He couldn't make it out of the locker room. Who knows?
Could have been wakeboarding or something on Lake Ocoee or something up there. Who knows? Anyway,
we do have
Lake Ocoee. Yeah.
We do have Terry Funk on commentary for this match, and he plugs the 900 number, which I will never forget that number until the day I die.
1-900-909-9900.
Rude. Tattooed
Kids,
on my brain.
Kids, get your parents' permission. That number and Stick Stickley's address, I'll always remember from the 90s. Yeah.
P.O. Box 963. New York City, New York State, 10108.
10108. And then 1-800-CALLATT.
Dial down the middle.
Dial down the middle, baby. I just did it on my chest when I was doing. Yeah. Those are never. Whoever did the advertising for those things, genius, because I still remember them 25 years later. So, but speaking of genius, you know who's not genius? Anybody that puts a mask on Ron Simmons is just an idiot, because Vince did it with Farouk Assad, and then they're doing it here. But don't cover up that man's head.
No, beautiful face.
Let him be Ron Simmons.
All that beautiful beaten footage.
Yeah. Like you said, this is joint in progress. It's kind of highlights, but it's kind of wild mayhem right here. But gonna hit a spine buster. Ron Simmons hits a spine buster on Rick Steiner for a 2 count. Tags in old Butchie Butch, body slam, middle rope elbow, tags in Spivey, double back body drop. And then we get something that's going to come into play in Taker's career big time. And this may be our first viewing of it ever, chronologically.
Yeah, this is a real highlight, and this is the reason to talk about this match here, because Dangerous Danny Spivey tags in, and he's going to hit a nasty tombstone on Rick Steiner. And dude, that had to be where Undertaker learned it from, like for a shoot.
Has to be, dude. Yeah, it has to be. It gets a 2 count here, so we didn't do it quite as good as Taker would, you know. But,
right? Yeah, he improved upon it.
I was like, "What is happening? Is this where he did he bequeath the move to him at this point? I don't know what happened." So yeah,
a historic moment, man. It's cool that we get to see it here, because I don't think we've covered a lot of his early days in these other territories. I don't think we've ever seen him do a tombstone. So this has to be where he got it from Danny.
Yeah, chronologically, this is the first time we've ever seen it, and so 10 months later he's going to hit it. It's another series.
That's right, man.
Almost to the day. That's
very
wild.
Very cool. A pretty awesome moment. So if you want to see that,
break a neck too.
Oh yeah, he is. Danny Spivey about broke Ricks. Yeah. That's the thing with all 4 of the Road Warriors, Steiners, Doom, Skyscrapers.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Not
baby.
a work to any of these guys.
Yeah. They're just chopping wood in there, dude. Just going for it. So
they're out of control, because it's Botchamania, as Animal is trying to pin one of the Doom. I couldn't tell who it was. And the other Doom is supposed to come in to break up the pin. But he forgets his cue, and he comes in like while the ref is about to count 2. So the ref just stands up and just like puts his hands up and stops counting. And even Terry Funk on commentary is like, "Well, I'm not sure why the ref didn't finish the count there."
Yeah.
They can't even cover for it. It's so bad.
No, they can't. So, and after that, it becomes what they call a Donnybrook. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, and then everyone's battling outside. Inside, Animal hits a clothesline. Mark Callous breaks up a pin with an elbow drop. We got a Pier 7 brawl, because it's a 7-man. And then I guess the ref throws the match out?
Right. Yeah.
So,
it's a double DQ at this point, I guess.
Yeah. Spivey hits a powerbomb on Animal, big boot by old Mean Mark Callous. And then Rick Steiner grabs one of those 90s plastic elementary school like chairs.
Oh yeah.
That would, I mean, you could kill an elephant with one of those. like you hit
That's
an
what's gonna
elephant
take
and knock it
to
out.
kill Rick's to kill.
He grabs
these
one,
guys.
and of course, all the heels bail because I would have too. Because I think, like I said, I think that's probably what sunk Titanic, dude. Just a big elementary school chair in the Pacific. like,
there were no tennis balls on the bottom of this one.
No
No
way.
safety net. But yeah, he clears the ring with that, which is just hilarious.
I love when Ming used to grab like the wooden one and then hit
Oh, the
people
balsa
with
wood.
it. Yeah,
Destroy it, man.
or punch his hand through it.
So a bunch of house show matches take place around this time. Road Warriors just beating the Skyscrapers all around town. And actually, even Dan Spivey misses a few of these shows. And Mean Mark is having to team up with current WWE Hall of Famer, one of the latest WWE Hall of Famers, Mike Rotunda.
Yeah,
He's having to team up with him from the Varsity Club.
yeah, boy.
My least favorite wrestler of all time. Another connection.
It's
between
just the
him
character.
and
You don't dislike Mike Rotunda. You just dislike IRS. Right?
I dislike him personally.
Dang, man.
I wouldn't shake his hand.
But he seated the Fiend and Uncle Howdy. You gotta believe, baby.
No, sir.
Dang. All right. Well, I tried.
Well, we're gonna
Let's get to the main event here, though.
Well,
We're gonna
get a singles match here. I guess again, Spivey's out and about. I don't know what he's doing here, but Mean Mark
with Sid.
Mean Mark Callous, spelled on the Chiron, Callas.
That's Jinder Mahal's finishing move, the Colossus.
Colossus. That's where he got it from here.
Mean Mark Callous.
He's taking on Robbie Idol, which is slightly better than Ricky Bobby or Randy Harris or whoever that was.
It was like an 80s Johnny Swinger, dude. I loved it. I was like, yes, boy. But he's getting booed by the crowd. Even though Mark Callous is supposed to be heel, the crowd does not like Robbie Idol. So, yeah. But again, he brings out Theodore Arlong is going to bring out, or he's cutting a promo in the middle of the aisle as Mean Mark's coming to the ring. Like you said, the camera's on, he's talking, baby.
But the camera just starts talking and the camera just like goes.
Yeah.
Screw you, Teddy. We don't care.
But Booker T has said that's why he talked on the way to the ring as Harlem Heat, because he's like, I didn't get promo time. That was my promo time.
That's right.
So he said anytime the red light was on, he said I was going for it and making the most of it, which is exactly what Teddy's doing here too.
It's brilliant.
But brought him from Metropolis again, and again, JR's calling Teddy Peanuthead, which is I love it. And
I'm not sure if that's offensive or not, but I'm going with it.
I hope not, because I've said it a lot tonight. And so if you, I hope it's not some racial thing. I'm going to feel real bad if it is. Let us know if we need to stop saying it or not. Good night. I didn't think about that. So I hope it's just because his head shaped like a peanut. I hope it doesn't have any kind of
but I wouldn't put it past
undertones.
I know.
Yeah.
We do hear the dulcet tones of Gordon Solie coming here on commentary. Man, what are your thoughts on Gordon Solie?
I had fonder memories in my head, I think. I know JR thinks he's the greatest. And I think maybe because he was calling matches probably when JR was watching, because he's old. I just think that in my head, I honestly, when I heard him, I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, whoops, that's my bad, it's Gordon Solie. But I like him, I respect him, but it definitely didn't. I was more entertained by Terry Funk and Kevin Sullivan and anybody else. But he's definitely an icon. But I'd like to go watch some of his cream of the crop stuff, back in the day.
Dude, I kind of feel the same way. He was definitely before my time.
Yeah.
And so when I first saw him, I would see him occasionally as a kid, and I had read his name and everyone talked with such great fondness and memories of him, and I was just like, I don't see what the big deal is. And as I've gotten older, he's got a voice people don't have that voice anymore.
Right.
I don't know what has happened to humanity where people don't have that type of voice anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a unique, rich, old school announcer voice.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy it. But I always have more nostalgia for like, Bobby and Gorilla or Jesse and
Right.
Gorilla, or even like King and JR. I've got much more
Vince even,
nostalgia
man.
for that. Sure.
What a
But-
maneuver!
But sir, I get it. I get
Yeah.
why people love him and
He's not on
hold him
my
in
Mount
such high
Rushmore.
regard. Yeah.
But I see why he is and deserves to be on the greatest of all time. Not much more. But yeah.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah. JR's talking about when the Skyscrapers meet the Road Warriors at Clash of Champions, he's going to shake Texas because I think it's in Corpus Christi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, yeah. But, yeah, man, Mean Mark is looking good on his own here.
He does.
Like a Colossus.
He's kind of cleaned his hair up a little bit. He came in sort of like a little wild hair, but he still got the mullet, but it's kind of wet down a little bit. He looks a lot better. His tights look a lot better here. He gets up huge for a leg drop, and he's got a lot of intensity, tossing Robbie Idol out of the ring. The announcers are really putting him over. You can tell like they're starting to see something in this kid. I know that's the story with WCW is Ole Anderson didn't see anything in this guy, but at first at least it seemed like they saw a lot of potential in him.
Oh, for sure.
It's back suplex, jumping clothesline, and then he does the rope walk and hits an elbow, and JR says, "Man, that is murder."
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna start using that, dude. Somebody does something cool, I'm like,
oh, that is murder.
Peanuthead.
oh man, golly, Peanuthead's so good.
But
so yeah, JR says he's going to live with the statement the Road Warriors cannot physically dominate the Skyscrapers. So JR showing some respect for those mean old new Skyscrapers there. So, but then we haven't heard the last of the Road Warriors yet. We get them in old Paul Ellering with some hair, which he's still on TV today.
Current SmackDown superstar
Yeah.
Paul Ellering.
Oh, Raw now. You got to switch to Raw.
Excuse me.
In the draft.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's wild. Out of all the people we're talking about
Raw
tonight, he's the one that's still active.
Active, yeah.
Him and JR, I guess. Sort of. JR occasionally, I guess, on AEW. But man, crazy. He says there's one thing about Texans and Texicans is that they do things in a big way. It's a big state and they like big things, but there's nothing bigger or badder than the Legion of Doom. But the Skyscrapers are not big. They're just tall, and that means they got a longer way to fall. So Paul Ellering with Paul Ellering promo, but who cares about Paul Ellering when we get to hear about hear Hawk and Animal cut a promo.
Haiku Hawk, maybe.
Men build skyscrapers and the Road Warriors rip them down. Oh, what a rush. A rush for us, but not for you.
And then Hawks ask if you guys can fill their shoes. I think not.
Bro, we're about to get to the match. Let's just talk about, how amazing are the Road Warriors, dude? Like, what did you think of them as a kid? Like, how much do you love them?
They, again, Sting and them were the ones that drew me to wrestling. Just something about the face paint, the huge bodies, the larger, dude, when you see that, those two guys with the wild hair, this crazy face paint, which a lot of times was red, black, and white, which as a Georgia Bulldogs fan, that's great for me. And then they had these spikes on their shoulders. And when they get in the ring, they're not just like beating dudes. That is murder!
Seriously.
Dude. And it's just like, it looks like it's not safe to be there around them, but they're good guys. So it's just like, and that Doomsday device, dude, has there ever been a better tag team finisher than that? I think not. 3D second to me.
There's nobody that's ever been like them. There's nobody that will ever be like them. Oh. They just had a charisma, a personality, a promo style, an intensity, a look. All of these things are unique to them. And it was like, it felt real and authentic. Yes. And there's been so many clones and copycats. And you can do a lot worse than copying the Road Warriors. And more people should copy the Road Warriors.
Right.
But they're always the original. They still feel modern when you watch them. Like, they don't feel dated at all, which is, wild to think about. They're unreal. And they're so freaking good. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they made it look like they made you question, like, I know this stuff. Like I know Bruce Pritchard always says that. I know this stuff is fake, but that looks real. Like and like that's one thing about them. It's always like if it's quote unquote fake or whatever. Like they made it look like them and the Steiners made it look like it was like an absolute legit contest. In there, they were just there to win. So
I mean, yeah, like you said, the face paint, spikes in the shoulder pads, got to be one of the greatest.
As a kid in the '90s, what do you mean? What else
time.
do you want?
You
like
can't.
And
do
then
better
whatever, like this, it's just great. And then when they had the Iron Man music, oh yeah,
so
it's the total package,
good.
dude.
They were.
They had it, yeah. Honestly, they just jumped off the screen at you. And Taker did the same thing with his whole presentation. Their presentation, probably the best presentation WCW ever had. Maybe until Sting at Halloween or at Starrcade '97. But as far as just overall presentation, they're the best that WCW ever had. So.
I think you could certainly make a case for that. Well, their big match is going to happen. I want to mention one house show match before we got to that because it took place in Greenville, South Carolina on January 23rd, 1990. The Skyscrapers defeated Ranger Ross and Norman the Lunatic. So main event anywhere in the country. Right
Less said, the better.
I tried to find footage of that one because it was in Greenville, but couldn't see that. But thankfully, that was not on Clash of the Champions 10 Texas Shootout, February 6th, 1990. Instead, we got the Skyscrapers and the Road Warriors. This show, the production level is off the charts for this entire show, man. They got opening graphics and like this big shootout, which is kind of weird because all the top superstars are just getting shot in the face, which is not necessarily how I'd want to present my top superstars. Maybe have them doing the shooting, but anyway.
Yeah, but it reminded me of like a Coliseum home video, like just the goofy, but like it was cool though. In 1990, this was awesome,
But there's like each wrestler gets like this video package before they come out. Some of it's like Dr. Death is like driving an ambulance and like giving CPR to some guy. But like the Road Warriors one, which we'll get to in a second, is
banging,
amazing.
Yeah.
The Road Warriors and Gordon Solie are going to do a little promo to open up the show here, and they get some cheap pop shouting out Corpus Christi. And I gotta ask, what do you think of the Road Warriors face paint here? Because it was you talked about like the traditional one, like I've got on the figures here with Hawk with the red and black, and then Animal with the spider and everything. But they kind of did it different in the '80s and in WCW. Which one do you prefer?
Oh, I just love it all, man. Honestly, because I feel like they changed it, like Sting did. It was different. But I think when I think of them, I think of what I'm looking at on your desk right there. I think of that. If you just had me draw them, I would draw that probably.
I think I do too.
But I enjoyed anytime somebody paints a face, dude. I'm there for it. Now, if you paint half your face, like in the early days of AEW, they had about 6 wrestlers who painted half their face.
That's true.
Paint the whole thing. So yeah, it was fun times, man.
Absolutely.
But dude, I felt like Hawk needed some subtitles, dude. I could not understand a word he said here. But all I know is the animal's like, what a rush. So that's all I needed. So. And I'll be honest, I did not remember. Road Warriors is their name. I didn't remember them being called the Legion of Doom also in WCW. To me, that was a WWF name because of copywriting stuff. So I knew they were always LOD and LOD 2000 and Legion of Doom and WWF, but I did not remember them being called that in WCW. So this jumped out of them onto my ear holes. I listened to it. They call them Legion of Doom. So
yeah, they kind of use it interchangeably here.
Yeah, which I don't know were there more people in the Legion of Doom or was it just them two? They just have 2 tag team names. So
if I recall, I think at some point in the NWA, yes, there was like a bigger faction that was the Legion of Doom.
That makes sense.
And then they just used that in the WWF. I'm sure there was a trademark issue with the Road Warrior.
Well, Legion of Doom is also from DC Comics, so just like Metropolis. So.
Oh, we got a DC battle right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, the Skyscrapers, we get this little graphic that comes on the screen, and then Teddy Long and the Skyscrapers start cutting a promo there, and Teddy Long's got this pinstripe suit on. He's looking fresh, and says the Road Warriors are over in 1990. They're done with. That's
it, man. And then we get the main event, dude. This this video package for Hawk and Animal, and they are like, it's like they're in some like Mad Max, like post-apocalyptic junkyard, basically. You know, the Road Warriors, if you will.
Exactly.
And they are just dismantling these cars in this junkyard, just trashing them, and got that Iron Man ripoff on Peacock. And I just, I wrote my notes. Goodness, I love these dudes because this has made me. I wanted to run through my second story window and just dive outside when I watched this. I was just like, yeah, let's go. Yeah,
This is bad to the bone, man.
I will
It was
fight
so
somebody
good.
right now. I never punched a human in my life, but I would have fought
Please.
anybody when I was watching this.
This
Yeah.
should always. We need to see more of this in wrestling, man. This is
Yes.
awesome.
I mean, seriously, I was like hopped up on Mountain Dew. I'm ready to come at you with the spider monkey when I was watching this, dude.
They're like, yeah, the production value it's like ahead of its time, man. WCW, like we're gonna give them some more crap as this goes on, but
That TNT
they did
money.
a lot of great stuff right during this time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of there's no title on the line, but we get these championship style ring introductions from Gary Michael Capetta when everybody gets in the ring. So really makes it feel like a big fight feel.
Good touch, you know, but there's no love for the Skyscrapers in Corpus Christi. They are a solid Road Warrior town.
You're lying, man. There's
I'm
a kid in the
talking about
crowd
audibly,
with a big
yeah.
sign.
There's a
That's like a
sign.
big Skyscrapers #1 fan.
Yeah, I did write that next, but yeah, the Skyscrapers rule signs. They have one guy, but other than that, dude, Corpus Christi was sold out for the Road Warriors, dude.
For sure.
But and then JR says this should be a Donnybrook, which I mean, I hadn't heard that term till Sheamus brought it up, you know, like years ago in WWE. So I didn't know that was a term they used back in JR days.
Donnybrook, Pier 6 Brawl.
Pier 6 was always his go-to.
Katie Bar the Door.
Yeah, yep. So
Got to bring all that back.
I always thought Katie Bar was like a female a rock singer. Katie Bar. You know?
Yeah, her sister is Donnie Brooke.
Yeah, Donnybrook and Katie Bar. So open up for the doors. Anyway, all right.
Hawk and Spivey are going to start out here, and they go toe-to-toe, and Hawk goes for neck breaker, but Callous kind of holds Spivey up so he doesn't fall down for the neck breaker. It was a nice little double team move, and then we can crack another drink because JR's going to go over Spivey's football credentials for the 17th time tonight. Give us his full stats for all 3 years of his run in Georgia. I don't know how he remembers all this.
I don't know.
Why he thinks anyone cares.
Well, 34 years later, I cared a lot. It was awesome. So,
I know.
But yeah, Animal and Mean Mark tag in, take turns kind of bouncing off one each other, trying to do a shoulder block, and neither one of them getting the best of each other. And finally, Animal ducks a crossbody and then clotheslines Mean Mark down. So these guys are so athletic for their size. It's
Seriously.
wild to see.
Yeah, and they really are here. Spivey rams Hawk into the Ruse sponsored corner post on the outside. Do you have a pair of Ruse, Travis?
Negative, Ghost Rider. Did
Nah,
not.
a little before our time.
Yeah.
Had the LA Lights, though.
Yeah, I wish LA Knight wore LA Lights.
It's a missed opportunity, right?
Well, they had BK Knights. Remember BK Knights? What if LA Lights and BK Knights went together and made it LA Knights? That'd be great.
He could really start a trend there. This is I don't know if I'll be able to convey this correctly, but Teddy Long is
even
again
better.
He's cutting a promo to the camera on the outside, and he's talking about the Road Warriors, saying he don't look so bad now, Dewey. And JR quotes him. He's like, he don't look so bad now, Dewey. Dewey who? And Jim Cornette says, Thomas Dewey. He almost won the presidency one time. What are we doing?
It was like if me and you were on commentary. That's exactly what would have happened, dude. They were just improv. Yes, and that's what they were doing. Dewey who? Thomas Dewey. He won the presidency.
With the topical references from the 1930s. Thanks, Corny.
Yeah. Thanks, Cornette.
How does his brain go to that?
I don't know, dude. But I was here for it because that's exactly the kind of crap I would do on commentary. Just go off the rail. I get fired after day 2. I'd just be going off the rails. So, Mean Mark's going to tag in, hits an old school on Hawk. And yeah, Cornette calls him the Flying Wallenda again.
Oh my God.
Hawk tries to fight out, but Mean Mark takes him down to the ground again, goes up for old school a second time, but we know you can't hit it twice in the same match.
Can't hit it twice.
Gets thrown all the way across the ring. And this ring is smaller than WWF ring, so he goes all the way across the ring.
I did notice that too. Yep.
I think these are 18 by 18 and WWE's 20 by 20, so if I'm not mistaken.
Spivey and Animal come in, and Animal hits a drop kick on both of the Skyscrapers. He's running wild. Power slam to Spivey, elbow, goes for a pin, and Mean Mark comes in, and they're going to double team Animal. But Animal double clotheslines them. Again, it's breaking down into a Donnybrook, as you mentioned here. But Road Warriors are going to toss Mean Mark over the top rope and hit the Doomsday device on Spivey.
Oh, yeah. Doomsday device. And that should be it, But Nick Patrick, well, as you roll your notes, bargain store Dollar Tree Nick Patrick gets distracted and trying to get Hawk out of the ring. And then Mean Mark comes up top with a chair and comes down across Animal's back with it and then rolls Spivey on top of Animal. So that's how we're going to potentially end things here.
Yeah, thankfully it was not one of those elementary school chairs.
Yeah.
Or else, Animal would have
murder.
Yeah, it would have been murder. But now the managers are going to get involved. Paul Ellering's going to hop in the ring and he knocks out Teddy Long with a punch. Everybody starts brawling. The Skyscraper's going to go for a spike pile driver on a chair onto Animal, but they just miss the chair completely. And even JR has to say, well, didn't quite get the chair on that one, but still a devastating maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah. So then they just improvise, and Spivey just grabs the chair and just starts wailing on Animal with it. Chair shot straight to the head, hits Hawk with it, and then I guess it's just a DQ. I never heard a bell, but I imagine it was just double DQ, because I think Hawk literally just yeeted the ref out the ring while they were all brawling. They didn't care what was going on. So
yeah, so this is a match. I don't know if it's this specific match. I think it is that Taker has talked about on some podcasts. I watched a video of him on Mike Tyson's podcast from last year talking about this match and saying, they were just losing to the Road Warriors all the time. And Dan Spivey was getting so aggravated. And he told Mean Mark, he's like, just follow my lead on this match. And apparently, like, he really laid in those chair shots, maybe even wasn't supposed to do all that. And they got to the back, and Mean Mark was just like terrified, like, oh my God, why would you do that to them? What are you doing? Like, we're done, we're finished. And Road Warriors come back, and they were like, oh, great match, guys, best match we've ever had. And, like, shook their hands. Is like, oh yeah, fantastic. So it's like, that's what they wanted.
Yeah,
they wanted somebody to stand up to them. So
yeah, there you go.
And yeah, the big deal that they're going to make about this is that the Skyscrapers left the Road Warriors lay it. Even though they didn't win the match, they left them defeated, beaten up. JR and Jim Cornette are going to talk about how they've never seen the Road Warriors beaten up like that. Much the same way we always talk about
Taker.
Yeah, commentaries. Well, commentaries always like, that's the worst we've ever seen the Undertaker beaten up. So I'm sure we've seen the Road Warriors beaten up before, but they're going to use that to really hype up the Skyscrapers here.
Yeah. Well, en route to that rematch, we're going to hop on the time-traveling spaceship and set course, second star to the right, straight until morning, baby, because we are going out of this world.
Oh,
off
yeah.
To Neverland.
To the outer galaxy.
That's what, the outer galaxy.
Not the inner galaxy.
No.
The outer galaxy. The Galaxians versus the Skyscrapers from Marietta, Georgia on the Power Hour on NWA. Man, how would you what do you think about the Galaxians?
I wrote they're just half red, half orange bodysuits, terrible mask once again. But just everything I loved. Just jabronis looking like trash, about to get their hind ends handed to them. And just the presentation, it's like, I know it's silly to think about the Ninja Turtles when you went and saw them. Like, they wrestled at WWF. Remember the house show you were at? Or
yeah.
The Ninja Turtles wrestled? Like,
of course.
That's what this felt like to me. It was just like, what are we doing? We have these Martians from outer space. Like, are we supposed to believe this? It's wild.
They look like the Noid from Domino's.
Yes.
Tag team Anoids.
Oh, that made me annoyed.
Avoid the Noid.
Yeah.
Well, before the match, the Road Warriors have a promo backstage, and The big match we're going to build to at Wrestle War is a Chicago street fight. And JR says they never lost a Chicago street fight. And Road Warriors say Skyscrapers are not ready for them. And Paul Ellering has already scouted the Skyscrapers, and beating them will be like walking a chicken or taking candy from a baby, which he's done a few times. I believe it.
I appreciate his honesty. Yeah.
I believe it.
What is walking a chicken?
Talk to Hawk.
Don't ask. Just go with it. Just roll
Don't
with
ask.
it. It's hawk poetry or animal poetry.
Oh, there's some art in the crowd. There's a Peanuthead sign for Teddy Long. It's like Mr. Peanut or something.
Yes, it's
looks
so
great.
nice.
It's so good.
But now I wanted to say the Skyscrapers are rocking. They got some leather chaps, dude. They've upped their game. They got some leather chaps, some leather vests now.
It's a good
looking
look.
a lot like Master of Pain, if you will, in Memphis.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Spivey starts in one of the tiny Martians, maybe Marvin, I don't know. Punches him in the corner, big boot. I wrote the wrong word there. Spivey's kind of gloating, taunting a little bit. But then the other Martian gets in, and they double drop kick old Dan Spivey. But to no avail, of course, because their gravity's different from where they're from, so they can't really knock it down. So, yeah.
And Gordon Solie said, that's like drop kicking a redwood tree. It's just not going to move.
It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
He is basically Harry Caray.
Yeah.
Solie.
It's like...
Have you ever drop kicked a redwood tree? I have. I didn't move.
Hi. We should do a Harry Caray commentary. What the heck?
Well, JR's not any better because Mean Mark tags in and he hits a big press slam, and JR's like, hey, he tossed him around like a sack of groceries. A small sack, right through the express line. 12 items or less. Small sack.
It's like the point was made.
Doesn't know how to land.
The joke is landed, and then you just turned off the runway into the tarmac and just crashed it.
Small sack.
Yeah. 12 items or less. He just keeps. It's like your microphone is on. Those intrusive thoughts are coming out.
Yes, they are. Man, I got to ask you, how do you feel? You're at the grocery store.
Wow.
Oh yeah, great. I'm glad you're feeling good. We still got a couple more to go. If you get in the 12 items or less line, if somebody has more than 12 items on there, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I hate that.
Okay.
It grinds my gears, dude.
I don't
even know if they have that anymore.
Oh yeah, they still got it.
I don't know if we have a 12 items or less line up here. But I'll
give you one or two. I'll give you 13 or 14. But you walk in there with 20, 25 items in that. Like,
you got a bucket, or a buggy, and it's full of stuff, and you're in there. There's no other lower life form on the planet. They're from different galaxy.
They belong in the outer galaxy.
They belong in the outer. People like that belong in the outer galaxy with Hans and Franz, whatever these guys' names are. So, yeah, that really grinds my gears. So, I haven't had that happen in a long time.
Oh man, it frustrates the crap out of me. Well, Mean Mark's gonna hit big leg drop on Groot, the other Galaxian.
Yeah.
Mean Mark keeps him across the ring to the outside. Spivey tags in. He works a neck wrench and take another drink for JR mentioning Spivey's football credentials. And now he's moved on to talking about how he was recruited by Irk Russell, who just retired from Georgia Southern. There's no other name you could think of from Statesboro, Georgia. Actually, driving to Florida, I passed Irk Russell Highway. I really did. Driving through Statesboro.
For those of you who don't know, Alex had to drive through Statesboro, which is where Georgia Southern is, en route to and from Jacksonville, and you passed by Irk Russell Memorial Bridge.
It did.
How timely, dude. Oh, the odds of that are wild.
It really was.
Oh, man. I know at one point, I don't know if we're past it or not yet, but Mean Mark hits a leg drop onto what they call the thoracic area. So I just thought that was unique. That's about as good as what a maneuver. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The whole area.
Yeah, Mark throws these guys to the outside, or just to the outside through the ropes, and the Galaxians recoup on the outside, and Mark goes out there and throws them into the turnbuckle, shoulder tackle, hits another one. The Galaxians rush him. Mark double clotheslines him. Tags in old Dirty Dan Spivey. They hit a double big boot from the Skyscrapers. I doubt he yelled, receipt! So,
Receipt!
yeah. So, that's all happened before you talked about the thing you talked about already, so my bad. But
It doesn't matter.
elbow off the second rope, power bomb. That's a Dan Spivey elbow off the second rope, by the way. Kind of like John Moxley kind of does. Runs up into the middle rope and bounces off. So, power
It kind of
bomb.
seemed like he saw Mean
He's
Mark
like, oh,
doing
okay.
it. He's like, I can do this too, buddy.
I'll go halfway there. Yeah. Yeah.
trying to
Power
show off.
bomb, which is Sid's finisher, and then finish them as the other Galaxian just basically gives up. He's like,
Good
beat
call.
me up, Scotty. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then they do a fun little thing where Spivey goes and distracts the ref, so Mean Mark after the match can run up to the top rope and hit his elbow drop on the other Galaxian. So both guys get their stuff in here. As we get to the main event, in my opinion, we still got 2 matches to go, but
but this is the main event.
this is the main event right here from January.
This is why I brought
31st.
this jacket out. This match right here.
Who do we got here?
We got this Skyscrapers versus Sean Regal and the man from the continent of Europe, Zan Panzer.
Zan Panzer.
Panzer. Yeah, 2 Z's in this man's name and 2 N's.
What's your favorite Zan Panzer match?
Oh, it's hard to even count. He had so many. This is probably my favorite one, though, that I've ever
Gotta
seen.
get up there. Like the Iron Man that he had with Agent Steele back Starcade
Secret
80.
Agent, man. Yeah.
Starcade 80. Something.
Secret Agent Zan. Oh, dude, it's Sean Regal. Secret Agent Zan Panzer. I don't even know who is in the... We make fun of NXT name generator, but they had it going on back here, dude.
He looks
All
like if
these
a pink
territories.
starburst just came to life and became a human being. What is he doing?
It reminded me of Starman off of the wrestling game on NES.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like a pink star. You chew on a pink starburst for about 20 seconds and you take it out. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what Zan Panzer looks like.
Yeah.
Just stretch it out, put it on the table. That's a Zan Panzer right there.
That's it. Oh, I can't believe we're doing this.
I can't either,
Panzer.
man. Did you ever think 226 episodes ago we'd be talking about Zan Panzer?
I had no idea that my life could live up to a high as that. So,
We got to start our Zan Panzer podcast eventually.
yeah.
Well, Teddy Long and the Skyscrapers cut a promo before this match, if you can believe that. Teddy Long starts it off, ha ha, and calls the Road Warriors the Road Runners and hypes up this big street fight. And then Spivey, we gave JR some crap for trying to land his train of thought here. And Spivey doesn't quite get there either.
The Skyscraper's no big yellow bus. You ain't got to pay nothing to get on, but it's going to cost you everything to get off. What? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I think it had some legs to it, but
right.
It's like he forgot 3 of the sentences he was supposed to say. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened there. Skyscrapers
He had a
ain't
traumatic
no big yellow
experience
bus.
back with the
He had
bus
a
at some
stroke
point.
in the middle of his sentence. I don't know, dude. You ain't got to pay nothing to get on, but it's going to cost you everything to get on. I don't even know.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah.
It works for me.
Big yellow taxi,
If
big
you
yellow
shout
bus.
it with intensity, it doesn't matter if it makes a lot of sense.
Look at the Ultimate Warrior.
Right.
Yeah. Look at sometimes Macho Man.
Teddy Long is trying to cut another promo again. Again, the cameraman just runs away from him when he's.
Yeah.
So I feel terrible for him.
But he does get in a testify.
I love Teddy. But we got to put over Jim Cornette for the most prophetic comment of the night here.
Yes.
As he says, and I quote, "I'm telling you, Mean Mark Callous is the brightest young star in professional wrestling. He is going to be one of the great ones." So,
yes, sir.
Kudos.
Yep.
The Cornette, man. He saw it from an early age, and he had no idea how correct he was going to be.
Oh, spot on, man. He knew what he was talking about.
I loved it.
Yeah, Skyscrapers out again. Their leather garb, Dan and Spivey and Panzer start. Got a big boot, vertical suplex. The crowd's chanting, "We want Sid." So
Yeah, I noticed
we
that.
want Sid chant. So, again, we mentioned early on, like, was this going to play into him coming back and wanting his spot back, or him turning babyface against it? I don't know, but crowd wants him back. So, yeah.
I take another drink for JR Hype and Spivey's football cred yet again for the last time. Jim Cornette craps on Zan Panzer, saying this pan flute guy doesn't seem too likable, in my opinion. Even he can't stand the Panzer. Can't handle the Panzer.
Can't Panzer.
But he loves Mean Mark again. Mean Mark hits this big jumping boot, and Jim Cornette just falls out of his seat saying, "Oh my God, he's got springs in his legs." I mean, he loves this guy.
Oh, yeah. Not much to it here. I think Regal tags in, military press slam and a leg drop from Mean Mark. Spivey tags in, hits a body slam, a middle rope elbow, a power bomb, and a pin. And that's all, folks. Panzer doesn't even try to stop it. He takes his little bubblegum hind end and just get ready to walk home, collect his paycheck, and go home. So,
well, speaking of going home here, yeah, Dan Spivey is going to go home at this point in time. Basically, they have another quick little run on the house shows with the Skyscrapers. Even a house show match with a special referee, Wahoo McDaniel, at a house show in San Antonio, Texas. But Dan Spivey decides that he's had enough of WCW at this point and dips out of the company just days before the big match that they're supposed to have with the Road Warriors. Leaves Mean Mark and Teddy Long hung out to dry. I watched the shoot interview clip with him, just basically saying he didn't appreciate the pay he was getting or the push he was getting at that time, and just kind of had enough of it. Had enough of he called the Road Warriors big politicians. Said couldn't get past that, and was just making so much less money than the Road Warriors were, and just took his bag and went home. He was just kind of an old school guy like that, and
gambler, dude. You got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him. Know when to walk away, know when to run.
He walked away.
Yeah.
At this point, but Wrestle War 90 has kind of been advertised for weeks, and so
the show must go on.
Mean Mark's got to get a new partner. The Masked Skyscraper is going to form the third version of the Skyscrapers here, and he's portrayed by none other than another mean guy, Mean Mike Enos. You talk about having some Enos envy, Travis.
Oh, yeah. I love me some Mike Enos when he was just Mike Enos in the tail end of his career on WCW Saturday Night and on Nitro, getting ham boned by like Glacier or something. Those are my Mike Enos days. That was when I had the most Enos envy I ever had. But yeah, I wasn't a big Beverly Brother fan. That's what he was, right? He was one of those guys.
No one was.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this guy. I didn't know it's Mike Enos till I saw it later. I was like, who is this chub, dude? Like, this guy is awful. He does not know a wrist lock from a wristwatch, dude. And I can say that. I mean, as somebody who's not a wrestler, I can tell this guy is greener than goose crap. Like, it's wild to see, because he was fine later on. Mike Enos was fine, good hand, but he's not a good hand here. So they give him the old black underwear to put on his face.
Pull it out of the drawer.
Black women's underpants, put them on your head. Go out there. I mean, it's the law of diminishing returns when the new skyscraper gets built. Like, it gets worse.
Oh, yeah, it really is. The building code really deteriorates.
Yeah.
Well, there is a house show right before this in February where I guess Spivey's gone at this point. So Road Warrior Hawk defeats Mark Callous in a singles match in Augusta, Georgia at the James Brown Auditorium, or the Augusta Richmond County Civic Center back in those days.
Nice.
But before or after that is when they're going to bring in the Masked Skyscraper for Wrestle War 90, The Wild Thing, on February 25th, 1990 in Greensboro, North Carolina, which has the infamous Wild Thing rap, or Wrestle War rap, that takes place. That is something to behold. If you've never seen that, just Google that, put that in your YouTube, and
put that in your ear holes.
A little audio treat for yourselves here.
It's something. And I think John Moxley should come out with that. He comes out the Wild Thing already. He should come out the Wild Thing rap.
That would pop me for sure.
Oh yeah, great. He's going to like indie shows. Why not? Take your IWGP title to indie shows, and
He's out of his mind.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He's great.
Teddy Long and Gordon Solie, Theodore R. Long and Gordon Solie are going to open the show, and they're going to address this issue with the Skyscrapers right off the bat. Gordon calls him Dancing Teddy Long, and Teddy clarifies, tonight I'm Sugar Ray Long for this Chicago street fight. And he's, shadow boxing. He's ready to fight. He says Danny Spivey has been injured and he won't be here tonight. And Gordon just rolls his eyes at Teddy. He's like, "You kidding me with this yet again?" And he's basically acting like, "Okay, is this all a part of your plan?
A ruse? Yeah.
Are you gonna surprise us with Danny Spivey?" And Teddy says, "No, I'd never lie to you, Gordon."
Yeah. Okay. He's never going to lie to him.
Nope.
But honestly, I mean, I didn't know the backstory of Spivey leaving, so I thought maybe it was, just he was sick or something like that. I wasn't sure, but it's good to know that he was just went home the day before his highest profile match he's going to have with company. But as we said, the show must go on. Get another video package of Road Warriors dismantling cars in junkyard again. Iron Man ripoff again on peak. No, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. My bad. I did not have that. I lied.
Yeah, we got a promo with them.
They're backstage with Solie,
and
got the Sting armbands on.
Yeah, so that Clash of the Champions that we just covered is the one where Sting tears his knee out, blows his knee out, and they were him and Flair were supposed to main event this Wrestle War, and that was when Sting was going to win the world title. Yeah. But for a shoot, he really injured his knee in a steel cage match, and he's out of action for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. So they got their Sting armbands on, and they called themselves the Brothers in Paint, with Sting. So again, awesome. And Hawk says they went back to Chicago and fought 16 guys and put them in the hospital just to get ready for tonight. Which in my little cartoon head, what I saw was a side-scrolling like Street Fighter game, or like the Ninja Turtles arcade game. Like where you're just walking through and these just J-Brons come out. I want a Road Warriors side-scrolling like Double Dragon game. Like that would be awesome. Just Hawk an animal out there, just out of that 32-bit
heads.
Road Warriors.
Yeah, they went back home and fought 16 guys just to get ready for this match.
And slept in the gutter.
And,
it seems gutter trash.
Hey, nothing's unnecessary if they do it. So.
And Hawk says, and Paul just got back from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Doesn't specify what Paul was doing.
We all know what he was doing.
To prepare. Not sure how that prepares him for Chicago Street.
Hey-o. Yeah. I have no idea what he was doing over there.
I loved Animal's Chicago flag inspired face paint, dude. That was killer.
It was awesome, man. It reminded me of when Punk when Punk tagged with Sting, and was it Darby? Who was it?
It was Darby.
Yeah, and they all had the Chicago paint. That was awesome, man. Yeah, really, really cool. This reminded me of that.
What I really love, dude, is all of these guys, including the managers, are dressed in street clothes for this street fight. And that is one of my just favorite things in wrestling. It's just one of those like things that only makes sense in wrestling, but it just makes perfect sense. It's a street fight. You show up in street clothes. I don't know really how that helps you, but it's just what you do. And it always bugs me when there's a street fight and people don't show up.
They're tights.
And they're tights. Or if like one guy is wearing tights, the other is wearing jeans or something, like stop it. Like that was Shawn Michaels and Triple H. SummerSlam. Shawn's in jeans and cowboy boots, and Triple H just
Philippians 413 t-shirt. Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
But I love all these guys. They look even better and even tougher in street clothes. I think I said last month Ken Shamrock looked worse. He looked less intimidating in street clothes. Not these guys. All four of these guys look even more BA in their street clothes. Yeah. Man, it's awesome.
Yeah, these guys will scare your grandmama's wrinkles straight, man. They look terrifying.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but I said it. So, but Teddy Long comes out with Mean Mark and this Masked Skyscraper, and this guy, dude, Enos, he's got a cut-off WCW shirt, some acid wash jeans, and honestly looks like a Brooklyn Brawler, man.
He does.
He looks terrible.
It didn't look intimidating at all, man.
I thought a Brooklyn Brawler got stung by a bunch of bees, and then he came out.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here? But
Teddy gets on the mic to start to introduce him, and he says two words, and the Road Warriors music just starts playing over him.
I love it.
It's only in WCW, man.
Yeah. production cues. Who gives a crap? So, but yeah, they come out on the back of some motorcycles, dude, to ride down to the ring. It's not a very long ride. It's not an Undertaker WrestleMania X7 ride, but it is it's a ride. But they're on the back of these. You know, they're not driving themselves, but it's just, man, they look so awesome coming down the ring like that. You can't get. I mean, you can't not get excited about that, dude. And you always say, "Put some on a motorcycle, man. They're over."
We talked about it so many times.
Yeah.
And these guys look even tougher than normal. And they normally come out with spiked shoulder pads on.
Yeah.
That's how tough they look right now. It's great. Again, kudos to the production values of WCW. They don't always get it right, but when they did, man, they nailed it here.
And kudos to Animal. He's got a Zubaz shirt on. Just says
Absolutely.
Zubaz on it. I love it. So
they were founding members of that company, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
I didn't know
that was their company.
That's awesome. But JR reminds us that the Road Warriors never lost a Chicago street fight. So here we go, Chicago style, baby. My favorite way to eat a hot dog. My favorite way to watch a Road Warriors match.
No doubt about it. This is no DQ, one fall to a finish, and before
dish.
The deep dish style, Paul Ellering gets on the mic and challenges Teddy Long to get in the ring, and they're basically whatever they had for this match is thrown out the window.
Yeah,
essentially, they just trying to get through it here at this point. So they're stalling. Mean Mark's trying to hold Teddy Long back, but then they toss him in there anyway, and Paul Ellering knocks him out of the ring with one punch. And I don't even know.
They're just killing time, dude.
Well, I don't even know how to do play-by-play for this because they just get in the ring and it's all over the place. Everyone's just throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Nobody's selling anything.
No.
They're just doing punches and stuff to each other. And not even a minute into it, Teddy Long has already ditched the Skyscrapers. He runs to the back and he brings out Doom. This
Unmasked
time,
Doom.
Yeah. They lost their masks at Clash of the Champions to the Steiner brothers in a match that's supposed to be title versus mask, but the Steiner brothers just pull off Doom's masks halfway through the match anyway.
That's WCW, baby.
Yep. But Doom, they look pretty sick in their tuxedos, don't they?
They're looking fly, dude. They're looking snazzy out there in their suits, man.
Tuxes, dude.
Looking good.
I have no idea why, but they look great.
Yeah, Teddy Long is already given up on his team halfway through this match, and then I mean, in a very Bobby Heenan move, just goes and grabs somebody else. Like he's already moved on. I just love it. So
I don't blame him.
No, because why would you want Mike Enos and Mean Mark at this point? You know, so there's some psychology, I guess. No, there's not. There's just wailing on each other. There's drop kicks. There's some slams, but there's also Mean Mark will tap Enos on the shoulder and tell him to for a shoot, come over here and do it. It's ugly. Road Warriors kind of turned around for a minute. Mark then chokes Animal on the middle rope, clotheslines, everyone's outside. And then as they're all brawling outside, JR goes, they've literally taken it to the streets. No, they haven't. They've taken it to the ringside area.
Still very much inside.
Still not a street there. Yeah, so need to get him a dictionary for literally, but
there's a cool moment where Animal dives off the apron with a clothesline on the Mean Mark, and then Hawk hits a standing drop kick to Mark, but then Mark just hops up, absolutely no-sells it, starts choking on Hawk. I mean, it's
choking Hawk, baby.
Just nonsense, man. But eventually, the Skyscrapers go for a double clothesline on Animal, but he ducks it and clotheslines both of those guys. Hawk body drops Mark out of the ring, and they get the Masked Skyscraper up for the Doomsday Device, and Mean Mark just doesn't even bother.
He throws his hands up by this and just goes, eh. And I don't know if that was for a shoot or not. He's just like, eh.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And that ends the run of the new Skyscrapers right there.
Yeah. But then there's more.
Well, we're going to transition to the next feud here as Doom hops up in the ring and Teddy Long gets in there with him. And, I mean, it's a great stare down. I mean, who wouldn't want to see these four guys throw hands? And Doom takes their jackets off, and they have a big, long brawl between these four guys as the Skyscrapers are just nowhere to be seen.
That was my thing is, it should have been the stare down, cut it. Don't let them get physical yet. Or if you do, real quick, and then bail, some kind of dirty shot, and then bail, because they brawled they might have brawled for longer than the match. Well, it was
Yeah.
a lot of time, and I was just like, well, now what do we need to see? There's nothing left to see. So a little bit of bad booking there, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't want to be too critical. But I was just like, save some for later. Don't give it all away right now. But anyway.
Well, as if you couldn't tell after that burial, and now with both of these original members of the Skyscrapers out of the company, this was it for the Skyscrapers. But the original team, Spivey and Sid, would reunite one night only at Starrcade 90 for a one-off Skyscrapers match, defeating the Motor City Madman and the Big Cat, Mr. Hughes, Curtis Hughes. So interesting. Nothing really came of it after that, but they did reform the original team one more time. And of course, within a year after this, everyone that we talked about tonight pretty much would be in the WWE.
Yeah.
Road Warriors, Undertaker, Sid, all these guys. Even the Masked Skyscraper would be there with the Beverly Brothers within about a year.
Wow, dude.
And the Road Warriors would end up eliminating The Undertaker from the 1991 Royal Rumble. So their feud would continue on a little bit. Really, the only other interactions they ever had was 1997 when Raw was at the Manhattan Center for that one-off.
Just kill it, dude.
Yeah,
Skyscrapers are dead.
They're done. Taker is facing Farouk in the main event, and the Nation attacks him, and the LOD, who had just returned that night from WCW, made the save and saved The Undertaker. And then we've talked about this before, Undertaker and Kane, their first ever match as the Brothers of Destruction. They faced LOD 2000, but that was Animal and Draws, not Hawk and Animal. So really the only time they ever had any more interaction with the LOD. But man, what do you think had Spivey hung in there? Let's say he, doesn't flake out on Mean Mark. Do you think that match goes the same way? And do you think the Skyscrapers have much of a future?
I think the match still ends with the Road Warriors winning because babyface has got a babyface. But I think the Skyscrapers would have continued on and had a good run, honestly. But I'm glad that Spivey choked and left because we would have gotten Undertaker probably, So thank you, Dan. Georgia Hall of Famer. Not Hall of Famer, just alumni. Hall of Famer in my book, baby.
No, I think you're right. It is a real butterfly effect moment right there because, I think there would have been a little bit more legs to that Skyscrapers tag team. It's WCW. I don't think they're going to be around for a long time.
Right.
But you could tell Mean Mark was really growing in his confidence and growing in his skill level, being mentored by Dan Spivey. So I think it definitely would have had a longer run, and he probably would not have jumped to WWF in November of 1990. And he wouldn't have become The Undertaker. He may have, I think he still would have had a very successful career. He was always going to have a good career, but the timing wouldn't have been there to have that Undertaker character. And so it is probably one of the best things to ever happen to Mark Calloway was Dan Spivey jumping out at that moment. And I'm sure he didn't realize that in 1990 when he's sitting there with Costco
Brooklyn
Brawler.
Yeah, Kirkland's best.
Brooklyn Brawler.
Kirkland, yeah. Sam's Choice.
Right. But
so in WCW, after this Skyscrapers tumble down, then he gets paired with Paul Heyman and has a U.S. title match against Lex Luger, and that's about it. And he's gone. So
yeah, he's got some matches. He's got a match with Brian Pillman on a Clash of Champions. He's got a little run. That might be worth an episode at some point to cover. We covered the match with Lex Luger on an episode way back in the day, but might be some meat on the bone for some more of this Mean Mark content. I'm sure there's be some more great jobbers we could cover if we get to that episode, cover that singles run. But let us know, Creatures of the Night. Let us know, Pod Street Crew, if you want to hear more of Mean Mark in WCW. We can find that footage and we'd be happy to talk about it here. What do you think, dude? What would you recommend people to watch from the Skyscrapers run if they had one match to go back and watch?
Ooh, probably that first one we talked about where they just handle the guys, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
because the ones at Road Warriors, the first one's a DQ. Just it's a storyline. It's not really a match. And then the second one, the blow off, just fizzles out, so you don't even get a chance to see it. So I don't know. Maybe one of those first few matches that we talked about, where they're just crushing Ricky Skaggs or whoever it was,
Joe Diffie,
Rick Ryder.
Yeah, watch them go face the Galaxians. Go search for
Galaxians.
that.
There you go. Yeah.
And go watch the Skyscrapers, Sid and Spivey when they murder the jobber. Go check out that footage out there.
I'm checking that out in the morning when I wake up.
Absolutely. You need to do it. Well, I want to thank you guys out there for joining us. Thank you, Travis, of course, for joining me for this episode. Everybody out there in the Pod Street crew, let us know what you thought. Let us know what your favorite match was. Let us know what your favorite Skyscrapers moment was. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Talking Taker. Leave us a comment on YouTube and make sure you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a rating. Leave a comment on all that good stuff. And let us know what you thought. Let us know what you want to hear more of. Do you want to hear Mean Mark, or you got some other ideas for future Talking Taker episodes? We are happy to hear your suggestions here. I want to shout out our buddies at the Bottom Line Cast, Mike, Prue, and JV. They were back with a new episode covering some more WCW Stunning Steve content. Battle Bowl 1993 was their latest episode. A fun one there with Stunning Steve, having a nice little run in the little Battle Bowl tournament. Some great classic WCW action. Vader, Ric Flair, Sting, the Nasty Boys. JV popped me on there. He's talking about the Nasty Boys and says, I don't remember what they were talking about. He said, if I met the Nasty Boys and they didn't smell bad, I'd be real disappointed.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the best.
It made me laugh out loud.
That's the best description ever.
Yeah. They better have not showered before if you meet them at a meet and greet or something like that.
What was that move called? The pit stop?
Yeah, Pity City, man.
Yeah, Pity City. That's it.
So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Watch Along Tommy and his YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to that. We did a bonus episode with Watch Along Tommy. I talked about our Backlash 07 experience and looked back at that and talked about our stories from that with Tommy. So you can check that out on his YouTube channel or in our podcast feed. Thanks again to Steven Zeman for joining me on the SmackDown trip. And I hope you guys will check out the vlog over on the YouTube channel. Travis, I want to encourage everybody to subscribe to your YouTube channel. You posted some new music on there a couple weeks ago.
Did. And breaking news, might be going in the studio in July. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So that's
maybe
the goal.
Some new tunes before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the goal. So
all right.
It's been a minute. Been 2 years almost. Yeah.
Well, stay tuned to that at Travis White Music. You can follow him on Instagram, and I'm sure he'll post those updates, and on YouTube as well. You can get some sneak peeks and listen to that new music on there, and on TikTok. You're on TikTok, man. I'm not. I
am.
TikTok. You're there with all the youths.
Oh yeah, I'm there. It's fun.
Can you follow people on TikTok? Like, how do they get with you on TikTok?
Yeah. You follow at Travis White Music on there. Okay. So check out my old TikTok. Again, it would be fun to do a Talking Taker, but that's a lot of time. So
it's up to you. That's your job.
Yeah. There are a lot of great Jey Uso Yeet TikToks on there. I love it.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
I like it.
Great ones. So yeah.
Of course, you can check out our TeePublic store and pick up a if we make a Talking Taker account, I'm sure we'll make a Talking Taker t-shirt, but you can get a Taker Easy t-shirt and all that good stuff over there and help support the show. And next month, dude, for the July episode, I'm gonna throw this out there. We can brainstorm on it. Let me know what you think. I think the time has come. After 7 years of doing this podcast and 7 years of references of it, I think we got to do a Batman episode, Travis. It's the 25-year anniversary, 35-year anniversary of Batman 89. This summer is when it originally came out. So I think we need to just take a look at Batman, talk about his connections with the Undertaker, all the different ways we've talked about it. Maybe run through the Batman movies and just give some thoughts on those. And
I'm here for that. So
all right,
yeah.
all right.
One of my earliest memories of life is seeing Batman '89 in theater. I was 3 years old, and because the power went out at the theater in Augusta, and
oh no way,
like it shut the whole movie out, and so you had to wait for it to come back on. So yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot of memories from early on unless you've seen them on videotape. Like, oh, I remember that, but you've seen them on VHS. But I actually remember that. So yeah, a 35-year-old memory for me. So that's crazy. But
well, you've always found a way to connect the Undertaker and Batman, two of your greatest loves, and so
not even on purpose; it just happens.
No, exactly.
It's organic.
I have not seen the Robert Pattinson movie, so I need to go watch that.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the only one I've never seen of the theatrical movies. So I'll try to get that done, and maybe we can rank the Batman movies and just talk about things off the top of your head that connect him with Undertaker. I think it'll be a fun episode and a tribute to that long running gag that we've had here on Talking Taker.
That works for me.
So yeah, that's it. We hope to see you next month.
It was either that or we're gonna rewatch Long Invasion, 23-year anniversary.
I mean, that's gonna be the next episode of Back from the Dead on the Talking Taker channel. So you can always, our entire catalog is available for you to listen to. But I've been, I'll re-up some old episodes there to the top of your podcast feed because I feel like the show is very re-listenable and re-bingeable out there. It's very evergreen. So we encourage you to check out those old episodes for these anniversaries. So that's always up there. You never know when another bonus episode might drop out. So be on the lookout, folks.
Exactly. If you were at any of these matches we talked about tonight, please let us know. For the love of God, let us know.
Please.
So, especially
if you're listening from the outer galaxy, or from the European continent,
or if you're Zan Panzer, we want to know who you are. We want to meet you. We want to get an autograph. We got an autograph for you. We'll give you our autograph.
We will.
For free. We'll charge you,
whether you want it or not.
No, we're just gonna send it to you. You just. What if that was like a business? People just send their autograph to people. You just take it. You just take it. You want it or not, you just take it. So anyway, but that brings us back to the Undertaker autograph story from earlier on. Go listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. It's fun. So yeah, if you were there at any of these, we want to hear from you. I doubt you were, but it'd be fun. It'd be wild to hear from somebody that was there. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, school's out for summer. So enjoy your summer. Mine's picking up. My kids are playing every sport under God's green earth. So we're going to have a good time, though. But, enjoy yourself. Stay safe out there. And as always, take it easy.